ESL One New York is brought to you in part by Alienware, Microsoft, CyberPower PC, Logitech G, PaySafeCard, The Score Esports, and NVIDIA.
Very shortly. This is, of course, for those just tuning in, SK versus OpTic, and the map is going to be DE Train for this best of one. Again, we could probably have a little conversation at least about the Swiss format. I was going to ask you, because this is obviously all best of ones, winner or whoever picks up 3 maps goes through to the playoffs on Saturday or Sunday, and whoever picks up loses 3 maps is going to be out at the whole event. So obviously, we mentioned that SK were a big overdog to OpTic in this matchup. So would you say that SK are at least going to bring in, all the strategy we know they can show, or do you think they'll just run and gun and try and play an aim-based battle at least?
I don't think they're going to be really caring who they're playing against. You want to start out, especially the first few rounds. You want to make sure you're playing your own game. You make sure that you are comfortable, and then if it appears that your opponent is not much of an opposition to you, then you may become a little bit more loose and play more randomly and whatnot. But definitely not in the start. You want to make sure that you are the one dictating the place to begin with.
Yeah, especially with the 2-0 loss recently to OpTic. They're not going to want to underestimate their opponents. Yeah, no, obviously the first few rounds.
But I think the Swiss format in itself is good, really. I mean, it is quite time-consuming, obviously, but from a player's perspective, I guess they really like it because it's not as cutthroat, I guess, as GSL format would be. I guess it also adds to the fact that maybe teams do take a little bit more risk in the at least the first game, because if you lose the first one, then you'll still have 2 more lives, essentially. So I kind of like the format that we have here.
Yeah, I think it's the best one. I mean, Chad and Mitch were talking about it earlier, saying maybe you lose the first map, you're then going to be put up against an opponent that maybe is a similar skill level to you. So say you get a really outmatched matchup like OpTic SK, loser of this is going to go against obviously maybe assuming it's OpTic.
GTU.
Yeah, I know. But in theory it works. On paper it works.
In theory the tournament
maybe that's
stacked as this one.
Okay, maybe
no,
not.
I don't think it works.
Well, maybe not in this specific example, but
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
typically, especially we saw in the Cologne.
Don't want to wreck you this early.
No. We'll save it. But especially in the Cologne qualifiers, where it's not as stacked in the Swiss format, you can see that. So lose first map, maybe go against a better opponent or a weaker opponent.
And we saw the other side of it too, where G2 actually picked up the first. They won their first 2 games, and they were 2-0. They were 1 off from making the major, and they ended up losing 2 in a row. And then it became that one more game where they had to, it was make it or break it situation for them. So it has, I think it has a lot of interesting storylines it can build.
Yeah, and of course with best of ones only, it allows a lot of opportunity for upset, which is always a lot of fun. I know not everyone's a fan of upsets, but I think it adds an interesting dynamic, of course.
Well, it kind of, it's I think it's fun in that situation, but unfortunately for a lot of the tournaments, it's actually ruins the playoffs because a lot of the times the teams that do surprise then end up really not being as great in the playoffs. Unfortunately, obviously if they end up being winning the whole thing, then kudos. But at least so far in a lot of tournaments where you've had surprises early on, then you see them not doing as well in the playoffs.
Yeah, and as well, actually talking about upsets, we saw Splice get to a major. Some would say undeserved, but they won their matches, and I guess that was a lot of upset kind of potential for Splice to actually qualify for the major through the Swiss format.
Yeah. Oh well. It's one of those things. They happen. I don't think it would have happened in the Swiss format, to be honest with you. But in the GSL, there's a potential. In the best of one scenario, the best of rounds are so vital. Even the first weapon round's also very vital. So there's so many. There's not a lot of room to work with.
Yeah, and also if you lose 2 pistol rounds, it's very unlikely. We do sometimes say it, but it's very unlikely for you to pick up the map because obviously winning a pistol round kind of grants you 3 rounds typically if you play it safe, because you're going to be up against maybe a force and then a full eco typically. But
And statistically, at least at one point, it was 80% win rate when you win both Swiss rounds. So it is quite straightforward. I think it still applies, even though we see a lot more anti or eco wins, force buys and whatnot. But still, I think it more or less should apply.
That's true, and we're just waiting for the players to connect to the server. But at least we can talk about OpTic's recent success online, whereas SK have been a bit more shaky online. OpTic have been with some quite good performances. They're currently, I think, 4th in ESL Pro League, 14-6 in maps, if I'm correct on that one. Don't quote me. And obviously the
Better
recent
than Liquid, of course.
yeah, not hard. The recent bringing in of Tarek as well has proved to be a good decision, at least for the OpTic org.
Yeah, I mean, Tarek is definitely someone, he's that superstar potential kind of a guy. I don't think we've seen the most out of him yet. So definitely going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. He's one of those few players that is very versatile. He can do a lot of different roles in the game. Basically, he can use any weapon in the game effectively as well. So, yeah, he's definitely going to be an upgrade. I think the big issue right now for OpTic has to be the leadership situation. What do they do with that? Applies to a lot of teams, especially like Navi, for example, also Liquid, who within their players themselves don't really have that much leadership that we can see from the outside in. So I think that might be the obstacle that OpTic needs to figure out going forward.
Yeah, it could be far worse for OpTic. They could be in a situation, as you said, like Liquid having Peacemaker call for them, and obviously with the new Valve coach ruling, it makes it a lot harder, at least for certain teams that rely on an external player or caller to be their IGL. Teams like NiP with Threat, and obviously, as I mentioned, Liquid with Peacemaker. At least, OpTic don't have that situation.
What you can do is, I guess, with what I've heard teams have been doing, basically the coach starts to teach that new in-game leader on calling and what kind of calls do you make in certain situations. So I guess over time, you can basically teach anyone, to become at least a decent in-game leader. The problem is mid-round situations. That's where you need to have decisive, decisions made. You need to be having that clear vision of every single situation in a split second's time. When you get a call of, let's say it's a 3-on-3 situation, someone spots 2 at a certain part of the map, then you have to make 1 plus 1 is 2 calculation and make sure you're heading towards the other side of the map. Those kind of small little things decisions you make in middle of the round. But when it comes to initial calling, it's something you can learn.
Yeah, and we've seen teams have players like Sean Gare's Existence, perfect mid-round callers who obviously have a lot of experience in that style, I guess. But OpTic, bringing in Stan, going to have a bit of a deficit, I can imagine. But we'll see how it plays out. Again, we talked. You just mentioned that SK are probably going to be, after playing a few rounds very safely, they might just go into typical SK style, run and gun, headshots left and right. A bit of, I guess you could say, lack of strategy and just focusing on aim.
Lack of respect is, I guess, the right word. But then, in a good way though, because it makes it super hard for, especially teams that like to set up. Then it gets really hard to play against a team that likes to run and gun.
Yeah, especially on train where, at least talking about that, if you play on the T side and you want to set up a full smoke takeover towards A and you have all these players outside towards a dumpster and you don't have any A main control, for example, that would be a perfect avenue for SK to at least push, get aggressive, and then not only cut off these players pushing into the site very late in the round, but also just to catch them with the pants down where they're throwing the smokes and everything like that. So
yeah, well, train T side is a bit of a tricky one. You kind of have to have an idea of how your opponent plays the T side, because it's a lot about, if your opponent plays a really fast-paced T side, then you kind of have to use your grenades early in the rounds, but then if they play really slow, then you have to be really, really conservative with them to make it harder for teams to get out of the choke points. So that's kind of I guess the curveball you can throw at the CTs is that if you usually play a certain way, you have a certain pattern of how you want to throw strategy. So if you normally, let's say, the first whip around, you usually do a slow standard, and your opponent's obviously been reading on that, then you might want to do a faster strat to throw a bit of a curveball. So that kind of a little mind game is a part of it, and that one of the obstacles on the CT side of train.
Yeah, and of course, train being a rather CT-sided map, it's going to be very important that the knife round goes the way of, OpTic if they want to have a good avenue or a good fight back into this matchup.
I mean, we see a lot of teams pick up a lot of runs T-side. I don't think it's that CT-sided. I think it's, I think a lot of the maps we have right now are actually quite balanced in terms of, I like the dynamic we have right now where you can easily, get up to the 6-7 rounds on T-sides as well. So that makes up for a lot of interesting Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and again, statistics are going to be changed at least when you have, a dominant team against a less dominant team. So if you pick up a lot of T-side rounds when you're SK against OpTic, it could at least change the statistics for people to think balance is different than it actually is. But actually, another thing to talk about, I guess, is Fur coming back onto the roster. I guess he wasn't only off the roster for a couple of weeks while Showtime stepped in, but this is actually his first offline event since his ear surgery, if I'm correct. So
I think it was ear nose.
Yeah, ear or nose or both, in fact. So
Everything's possible.
yeah. So obviously that's going to be maybe a bit of a thing to worry about. He could perform worse.
Playing Counter-Strike is like riding a bicycle. You don't forget it. It's you know, it's all about getting that finesse into how you play the game. Really, for them, it's more about them being away from LAN tournaments for as long as they have. Can take a little bit of time for them to really find the right pace. But considering how successful this team has been, I have a hard time seeing them struggling here.
Yeah, true. And I mean, even with his hiatus being one of the maybe main reasons that they had a bit of a struggle online, of course, him coming back, they're going to be more prepared, I'm sure. And we will be going into the game right about now. So obviously into the knife round, to pick the sides, to see how this one's going to go. This is going to be SK versus OpTic, everyone. Buckle in, because I think it's going to be a bit of a wild ride.
How wild, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the question.
A bit wild, maybe a 60-0. You never know.
A 60-0?
No.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that happening, no. But OpTic's only opportunities I can see them having here is the classic win the pistol rounds, and then, that's if you get the 6 rounds guaranteed, you go into the first weapon round on each side with the opportunity to have a massive lead in the half, then you have a chance. But, if that doesn't happen, I don't see them really having plenty of opportunities in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but hopefully the knife should come on the screen in a second, so we can at least see how that's going to go. We've got some lag apparently at the moment, so we're going to be hopefully getting
there's some Atlantic Ocean here.
Yeah, but OpTic has won the knife round, so I can imagine they'll be going for CT side. Obviously, we'll see, but that's going to be the typical choice.
Yeah, unless you are Exist, who likes to go on T sides. Not anymore though. Before, back in the day, you usually choose the CT side.
Yeah, and I see they will as well. So yeah, hopefully we should get this lag sorted out. Obviously, these matches are right now being played in North America, in New York. So you're going to have a bit of latency issues, I'm sure, and issues with at least getting the connection over here. So
yeah, well, I mean, it is East Coast, and we are in the center of Europe, so we should be okay. But there's always things that can go wrong with when it comes to IT.
Mean, yeah, this is esports. We know
computers.
There's always delays. There's nothing you can do. They're just inherent. They're innate delays.
Well, it is what it is. But I think the match is going to be going live here, so hopefully we can get it on the screen so you actually get to see some Counter-Strike instead of our faces, because I would feel...
Who wouldn't want to watch our faces?
I wouldn't. I would definitely not. So let's rather just watch some Counter-Strike, should we not?
Yeah.
So as you rightfully pointed out, OpTic's going to be starting on the CT side, and therefore SK obviously gets the honor of being on the T side. Let's look at the buy from SK. They've made Taco into the raid boss with a Technon and armor, and Fallen with the lone smoke here to work with. So nothing too complicated to be expected here. As we can see from the minimap, SK is making their way towards the alley.
Yeah, but there are going to be 2 defenders here from the CT side. We have both Nafly and Rush maybe a bit situated outside of the Ivy, and now we see the push. SK, they're going to be rushing straight up. Nafly able to get that first shot, but his teammate has to join him in. He won't be able to do so, but Nafly is going to spray them down. That's how you kick things off here. All headshots, and it is going to be just Fallen left over towards A main, completely detached from the rest of the team, only able to find 2 headshots himself, but Stanislaw will just execute him from the CT spawn. So OpTic picking up that first round in style, and I mean, you can't account for that if you're SK Gaming.
No, that's definitely OpTic's lifeline right now, picking up those pistol rounds. And Nafly with the massive work, SK going on with the very simplistic alley push for people coming in, but Naf being ready with the USP and just single-handedly destroying that attack. And that's going to be the pistol round going the way of OpTic. And as we can see, SK decides to go on the force by right away.
Yeah, so going to be on that scout with Fallen. We do have the Tech 9s and armor, very typical T-side buy here on Train. And of course, this is the kind of team that can definitely make it a possible win for themselves. And we are going to just see Fallen trying to spot out over towards the A side. Nothing found too far. We do have that one player boosted up into Heaven. That is going to be Rush there, so maybe an avenue for Fallen to exploit if he does peek over towards the Heaven area. But instead, just going to be playing at least a little more passive here on his T side. But no CTs taking these fights. This is going to be the safe way to play from OpTic. They know they're up against these pistols, so it could be dangerous. But there's going to be the danger, and that'll be Tarek. First kill onto Fallen, so the scout's going to be out of the hands of SK, but Fair will be able to retrieve it.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one here for SK because they've only got 1 smoke and a flash to work with, and they've not been able to connect with any kills. Tarek goes down at 30 HP though. It's going to be a bit of help, but with Fallen being down, they've already lost a man, and now they're just going to be having to focus on getting that fire onto OpTic's defense.
Yeah, so the smoke goes down. We can see Taco pushing up very aggressively here. Tarek might be able to spot him out, but his teammate's going to do the damage instead. Rush finds it. Tarek peeking out towards Pop Dog. That's why you don't think a deal. Headshot comes in there, and we are going to see a 3 versus 4 here as Nathwai tries to support. He did well in the previous round. He's going to step up again. Drops FNX, tries to peek out again, but we do have this scout still in play here for the T side, but not for long. As you can see, the rest of SK is getting eliminated one by one. Just one player left here on this T side, and he's going to be spamming away, but not able to get anything. That will be the round again to OpTic, and nothing too special either way.
Yeah, good job from OpTic, really. Staying alive with 4 people against a 4-spied SK. Tarek being the one getting the first pick, and then pretty much OpTic is playing really passively, not giving the advantage of short distance fights with the Tech 9s and whatnot. So, good job from OpTic here, and SK having to go for a save. Only a P250 bot.
Yeah, so not really much investment here on the Brazilian side, and we're going to see if they can make it work. That is going to be cold on the PT15. He's going to be heading over towards Ivy, amassing the fight with the rest of his team. Meanwhile, the bomb's over towards B, so this is just a typical fake here from SK. Send a couple of players over towards A, force a rotation, and the bomb going down on B, but the first player from the T side's already going to be falling, and that is falling. That's why they're over towards Ivy. There we go, he's the master of this area, gets 3, and now Taco's going to try and get this bomb down on the B site, but not going to be able to because Stan, he hasn't rotated yet. And that will be the 3rd round for OpTic. A clean sweep here, no damage done from SK, but now we see the buy.
Yeah, I'm more a fan of just going towards inner bomb side with the in the eco rounds. Buy a couple of smokes and just force the bomb plant, because you can more often than not, the cities are playing passively. So that gives you the opportunity of getting the bomb down and getting that bit of extra money. As we can see right now, SK will not have an AWP going into the first round. The first weapon round, rather, and just AKs across the board.
Yeah, still they have the utility to work with, though, despite not getting the bomb plant down, so they're going to have a few smokes and flashes as well, as we do see them set up outside of the A site. Maybe a smoke ticket's going to be in FNX and the team. They're going to be setting up these smokes here. We'll have a couple of players pushed up already, and Rush, he's going to be able to find that first play. Drops Taco, and now the man advantage, it resides in the favour of OpTic, but the smokes will be coming in, the wall going down, and now SK, they should amount this push out on towards the A site. Pushing in through main, it is going to be cold to lead the charge. Rush gets tagged down through the smoke somehow, and Fallen, he is going to get that first entry for the T side. So now SK going to find a fight, and they will. Rush not going to be taken down. Finally, Cole will drop him, follows up with 2 as well, and Stan's going to be alone as the bomb goes down here for this T side. A nice start so far, and he's going to be completely detached from the rest of his team over towards B, and he's going to be very late on the rotation. Should just be going for either the exit frags or the save in this situation.
Yeah, well, he's going to want to save this weapon here. Maybe if he can get a cheeky exit kill, that'll be a bonus, but that's pretty much all the opportunities he's going to have on this one. I think the best one right now is just save the weapon, save all the utility he has, but it's a great round from SK. They sent Taco basically out of team main, trying to cause havoc, and the rest of them were waiting for the smokes. They threw him in as Taco went in there, and still even they didn't even get the entry kill. Taco went down right away to Rush. They still managed to trade the kills afterwards effectively against a very passive setup from OpTic, and getting the bomb down and everything, so that worked out beautifully for SK.
Yeah, and of course, him saving that weapon is going to mean that he'll be able to drop Mixwell, and the rest of the team able to buy up around it as well. So they've got a fairly decent buy coming into this one. The AWP is going to be up on Mixwell. We still don't have the AWP on SK, so Fallen's just going to go for that AK instead. And plenty of utility once again here from the Brazilian side. They've got a lot to work with, and OpTic, of course, on the other side are going to be extremely kitted into this one. Full nades on most of the players and the kits as well, so it's nothing too detrimental here for this CT side, as we do see SK set up for what looks like maybe a fast B take, as they take an instant B Hall's control, and Fur actually drops down through Pop Dog, so maybe a bit of an A split, as they do have the control over towards Ivy as well, and that's FNX.
Yeah, so far it's just map control gained by SK, trying to feel out what OpTic is going to be doing on the CT side. As we can see from minimap, not too much actually. They're playing quite a default kind of position and a bit more aggressive towards the front of the yard right now. But as we can see, SK is working their way towards the dark holes in a bomb site, and see if they find anyone playing aggressively there before making a decision. Now with 1 and 10, the clock's still on a 5-on-5 situation. A lot of grenades for SK, so still a lot of opportunities here to be had.
Yeah, and Taco, he may be able to catch that stand here, as he isn't going to be fully committed to the fight over towards upper, but he's still in position. If Taco sneaks his way out, he may be able to get that kill, because there is no B upper control here from the CT side, apart from Mixwell over and connected with the AWP, who's going to be ready to set up, but he's actually watching towards lower, so potential there. But Stan, he's just going to get aggressive, finds Taco, and now the man advantage resides in the favour of OpTic. They found that first pick, and they haven't lost any HP from it as well, so it's going to be a decent trade out here.
Yeah, this seems like SK's going to go for the wall of smokes once again to the yard. That very often guarantees you a bomb plant, a possibility to get the bomb down. They've sent 1 down ladder. They'll have 2 coming out of T main. Just 25 on the clock. Tarek in a prime position to stop this push. The bomb's going to be down, and he's going to just have to stay alive. But Mixwell joins the action as well.
Yeah, Tarek just tapping away, working his way around that electrical box very well. And Rush is going to be able to peek out, but Fallen's executing 2 kills in the bag. Goes for the 3rd as well, but Mixwell's just going to be hiding from that one. 9 seconds left, so no time to get this bomb plant, but he can at least do a bit of economic damage. But Stan's just going to be coming in from behind, flanks him down, takes him, and that is going to be a 4 to OpTic. But of course, you've got to look at the economy taking into account now from SK.
Yeah, well, they only lost 1 player in the one they won, so that means they'll get away with just 1 save here. Though actually 2, yeah, you're right. But still, they'll still have money to buy in the following round. But yeah, obviously not the perfect situation to win a round and lose one after. Now, OpTic once again managing to get the early advantage, and then SK going for the push yard. Just Tarek staying alive as long as they're dead really made a massive difference there.
Yeah, so not really a quasi here from SK. They've just put their money into a couple of pistols, and we will see how that works out for them. Fallen going to be taking the upper control, and we do have the smoke down over towards B to at least deny them from pushing fast into lower. And Fur, he's going to be kicking things off. A bit of aggression from Tarek going punish there towards A main. He's going to not be able to grab himself that M4, just a little too far out of reach, but maybe a bit too short on the arms here. Should do arm day. And now we will see SK mounting their forces, ready to push out towards 8. FNX going to be sneaking in through the smoke. Oh, the D comes in, though. He takes down Rush, and that is going to be another pick here in the favor of SK. And now this is where things get dicey, because these 2 picks have been found, and despite not having the armor, they have a huge man advantage. And if Nafly goes down here as well, as he gets aggressive towards A main, this could be a detrimental situation here for the OpTic Gaming side.
Yeah, well, no armor for any of the SK members, so there's always that little possibility for one of the OpTic members to really go ham here. And here comes the push towards the inner bomb side. Stanislav is going to spot them all, and just trying to really stay passive. It does get a kill, so it's a little chance here.
Yeah, traded out though by Fur, and Nafly's also going to find one as the bomb goes down, so it's a 2v3. Also, Taco's tagged up, so it's certainly potential here. And Nafly, spree control, look at that, 3 kills. That's how you get back into a bomb site. He's going to be able to find the defuse as well. And OpTic coming back from a dire situation and bringing it into a round when at one point that was a 4v2 in favor of SK Gaming. So a nice start there by OpTic, pulling it back. Of course, they were only against unarmored players, which is something you've got to take into account, but still making it work, and you see the defuse coming in.
Yeah, well, the danger is when you don't have any armor, it's really hard to play against people that do have armors. And then, you know, in the SK situation, they kind of needed to be able to push up towards the spawn on inner bomb side to make it uncomfortable for OpTic to retake. Not able to do so. They were stuck in the bomb side, and Nafly once again stepping in massively, sitting at a modest 14-0-2 statistics right now, so he's having a one heck of a game.
Yeah, an absolute ball here on the CT side. And now we're going to see the double AWP.
Yeah,
what do you make of this?
Just go for 2 ops at this point. I mean, obviously they have a lot of skill with these ops. And let's see if Mixwell's going to peek a little bit too much. If he did, he might be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be cold there, and we know what he's like. Obviously, Fallen as well dominating up here for this T side, and no one's going to be taking the fight over towards upper. So Mixwell just getting away with his life, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know where SK have brought to the table in this match. And now we will see maybe a bit of Ivy control and pressure coming out from SK. But I mean, Nafly, you're not going to really want to challenge him in that position. We've seen what he's like already, so going to be at least a bit of a passive for SK trying to get information.
This is the perfect start for OpTic right now. They're not given any opportunities for SK really. And the only round that SK managed to win was even in a 4-on-5 situation where they ended up going yard and then trading effectively, getting the bomb down, just getting the control of that bomb site. But so far, none of that really.
Now Nafly is going to be holding down. The Molotovs do go in here for SK, and they're going to be making their way up. The smoke as well, but he may just be able to peek around through the edge of that. They're finally going to commit to this, but the smoke's going to be dissipating, so they've really got to hurry up with this one if they want to actually commit to this A side. Taco, he's going to be flacking himself through, pushes in, and Nafly turns around in time, turns back, and that is going to be a kill still for Taco. Nice entries there, but Tarek and Stan will be able to trade things out. Still going to be going in the favor of SK, but Mixwell's going to finally strike a bullet into the chest of first, so it's back into a 2-on-2.
And Mixwell in a prime position right now, but that smoke from Coldzera, I think it's Coldzera's smoke, he cuts off the visibility, and now he does get the bomb down. Taco, oh, the timing, it does work in his favor. He spots Mixwell, gets the kill in the end.
I thought he was going to choke that.
Becomes a 1-on-2, yeah. That was always in the realm of possibilities. Now Stanislav in a 1-on-2, and well, he knows where Taco is obviously, but it's not 100% sure where Coldzera is.
But potential for a ninja here. He's taking his time pushing back into the site, but I think he just got spotted out there. That's going to be cold, trying to strike him down with the AWP. Taco as well supporting, and he's got 2 players on completely different sides of the map just trying to take this fight, so he's going to have to tap back and forth either side, but finally Cold just hits him mid-air jump shot there, and we are going to see SK taking their second round, but still OpTic in the lead, over double their rounds.
Yeah, well, money is going to be an issue for OpTic though, because they've been losing men in this couple of few rounds they won, so that means that their money is going to be a bit of an issue. But SK playing very slow once again, going down to the 30s before really committing and then getting kills on yard, trading well. And then eventually it's 2-on-2. Coldzera goes inside with the bomb, and they capitalize on the opportunity.
Yep, and there should be another avenue for a round here for SK. Not getting reset, I can imagine. Only Pistol's going to be brought up from the OpTic Gaming side. We got Mixwell on the armor. PT50s across the board, apart from Rush, just saving up. And just aggressive positions from the CT side, so we got a bit of a stack over towards A as well. No B control here from OpTic, and it might not work out for them because we have a couple of probing players over towards B, and that is going to be Cold and his teammate Fur, for example. But still, Bomb is outside of A, so SK going to be starting to take this point as they push up towards the Ivy area.
Yeah, Taco's going to be scouting out here in alley, just making sure no one is in any of these little corners. Smoking the left side, but as we can see right now, there's two OpTic players. They are on both sides in alley, but the bomb is still, like you said, it's all the way down to T-spawn, so not really any commitment from SK so far. Just probing out the map, trying to see what OpTic is doing with this eco round.
Yeah, but it seems like maybe our lag's been fixed. I don't know how temporarily or permanent that is, but let's hope it stays. And look at this, the full rotation from OpTic. They're all going to be pushing over towards B. No information yet, but...
It's fair game, because you kind of have to make gambles in these situations. You are in an eco, you are in a very unfavored situation, so you may as well gamble and send 5 inside. But unfortunate for them, commitment from SK is going to be outer bomb site.
Just seconds later here, and they will be pushing into this full site take. No defense as well from OpTic, so they should finally realize this and rotate back in. But I mean, there's not really anything to save in this round apart from Mixwell's armor, I guess. And they could just go for exits here and try and at least force SK to go down with the bomb or grab rifles and attempt to save that. But you know, SK are the kind of team to want to deny that to the greatest extent possible. And we will see a couple of players pushing in through the CT spawn. But FNX, he's going to be lined up and ready for this one. The peaks may come through, or maybe they're just holding for the guns here.
I don't know. They might be, peeking together momentarily. FNX has no idea what he's facing right now. Neither does Fair, who's actually going to be going in there and gets wrecked by Rush, 100%. And FNX decides to just fall back and gives out that AK-47 to Rush. And, well, that's always something for OpTic to even pick up that AK-47.
But SK pushing all their players together instead of just flanking around the edge of the site aren't going to be able to force SK to go down with the bomb. So we will only want to see one or maybe 2 rifles saved here. Rush and Tarek able to find some AKs. So that's going to be a decent eco. Only a couple of kills, but the AKs have been found and saved into this round. Going to be allowing them to buy up a little bit more in terms of utility and kits.
Look at Coldzera. He's so comfortable that he can even play tilted to the right a little bit. He doesn't care.
Are you mad? Because I'm not. That's Taco, isn't it? Oh, I was close. But again, the double up here from SK, so they are going to be bringing it back into another round. Mixwell's going to be picking it up on the CT side as well, but no utility to support that. Not going to be the biggest of issues.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is a possible turning point for this match. OpTic really needs this one to keep their feet dry in the situations, because if you start giving out this many rounds to SK, it becomes really problematic.
Yeah, Fallen, maybe putting a bit of pressure over towards A, but he doesn't want to solo push this with an AWP. He has no support over towards A main, so the furthest he's going to be imagining to go is probably just an aggressive peeking towards connector here, but OpTic again not challenging this. They've done really well, at least in terms of holding back on the CT side. Not really much aggression that SK have been taking advantage of, and of course it is only early days. We are 5-3, but you know, OpTic have really shown up in the first few rounds. We're going to see if they can continue this streak, because SK have picked up the last couple as well, so going to be putting most of their players over towards the B site now, so maybe a B take. But there we go, as I talked about it, Fallen going to be picking out A main. Does find that first player, so Tarek going down, and now the man advantage. SK can capitalize off that and put a couple of smokes and flashes down towards the B site, but the Molotov is going to be holding them off here for the time being.
And still, as we can see, SK is just going to be slowing things down. They still got 40 to play with. And Taco just throwing that smoke in, and Stanislav making the right play. He's pushing a lower ramp right now. He might be able to surprise his SK members 100% here.
Yeah, and now Fly getting a bit aggressive over towards Ivy. Now and Stan, oh my god, this is perfect. He drops down on them. Oh, he's going to fly right in their head. Takes 2 kills. It's going to equalize it back into a 3-on-3 as he gets traded out by Thur. But now the push onto the A side with not much time is going to be coming in. 20 seconds on the clock here. While FNX may get an entry, it's all going to be down to Nafly here. He's over towards the back of the bomb trade. If he denies his plant and prohibits them from getting it down, it could be great for him. He finds that first play. They're not going to commit to it though, and there we go. Thur will be able to wipe things down here for SK. So only just picking it up with 5 more seconds remaining, but they will be able to take it. And how very close that was there. Massive round from Stan, but it's not going to quite work out here for the CT side.
Yeah, great timing, obviously, pushing in and then making it 3-on-3. But that's the thing with SK. I mean, these guys are so super skilled that they can even the situation falls apart, because they had everything going for themselves before that push came in. They still managed to capitalize on the situation.
Yeah.
And they won that 3-on-3. And now it does become a little dangerous here for OpTic, as they need to have another save. So more than likely, we're going to be sitting at 5-5 going into round number 11.
Potentially giving away another round here to the Brazilians, and, well, to Cold, in fact, he's going to just be spraying down 2 over towards B. So OpTic already, at the start of the round, just going to be put on the back foot. They're fighting an uphill battle, and they only have pistols for it as well, so no armor on any of the players this time. And we will just see this A-side control go in the way of SK. No defense here from the CT side, as they've rotated very early on towards B after those first 2 initial kills from Cold, and bomb going down as well. They're going to be on the edge of the smoke. We do have Russian connected to deal with, but Nafly's going to be coming up on the flank. And potential for him to at least drop Cold, as he's tagged up as well over towards the B area.
Yeah, very straightforward round for SK so far. Naf not able to capitalize, and neither is Rush, and that's going to be it. Clean sweep for SK. And that's going to be economy building up for them too. All they have to buy right now is just all the utility, but no rifles, so that's great for their bank. On the other hand, OpTic, once again, a situation where they're going to be 100% fully committed on this. Mixed well with the AWP, and now it's been 4 rounds in a row right now for SK as well, so they're really starting to get into the groove of things. If they started slow, well, they're actually really starting to look like SK once again.
Yeah, definitely, and let's see if they can keep it up on this T side. Again, early days, but it'd be nice to see OpTic to get a few more on the CT side after a great start into this map. But SK, this is typical SK here, just running straight into the B site. No smokes, no flashes, just going to push all the way into lower we go. And FNX, he's going to be getting aggressive post-plant here as the bomb does get taking its way towards the site. The first kill coming out from Fallen. SK are going to be able to take a 2-for-1 there as Tarek does trade. FNX drops another Taco in the CT spawn, finds himself one. And Rush is going to be coming in for the refrag. Does drop Taco, and now it's going to be a 2v3. But OpTic, they've already thrown in the towel. They're going to be going for the save here, I'm sure, because Mixwell is too far out of this site.
Oh, that was SK just throwing in smokes outer bomb site, and then 2 just running down lower. They get the control of that bomb site, they get the bomb down. FNX with the nice aggressive plays, and basically no opportunities for OpTic to get anywhere near that bomb site. Now Mixwell is still here. They're both actually still here. They're playing with the idea, but yeah, but FNX's positioning right now is so massive that he's going to be just nullifying this retake altogether by himself. Rush, though, in the smoke, trying to defuse, but Fallon gets the kill. And that's going to be another on the board for SK.
That looked dangerous. Fallen got the tag off with the Zorp and didn't actually find the kill, so I got a bit scared for a second there, but SK just going to be able to clutch it out, leaving it very late OpTic there, and I'm not too sure if I agree with that decision, but regardless, they tried it, didn't work, and now they will be suffering because of it. Eco coming in, a bit more of a quasi this time. We got 3 armored players, the Scout and Tarek and Mixwell just going to be on that Deagle.
Yeah, it's because they lost so many rounds in a row right now, 5 in a row, so they kind of, you know, the lowest bonus maxed out, so they can make some purchases here. Tarek with the Scout, his spots one in teammate, but doesn't get to take a shot. It's going to be fair here. Scouting out what's going on. He spots one, tilted as he is, still gets a kill.
Yeah, Fallen as well following up, and it is going to be just another wipe down for SK. We know what they're like against these pistols, and they're going to be playing very long-range fights. Stan will be picking up towards B upper, but not able to find the kill. And I mean, this is just going to be probably a clean sweep here in the clean sweep in the favor of SK.
Just to make sure for those that weren't tuned in when we talked about the Go TV lags. We are aware of it, trying to figure it out right now. But this is kind of a throwback to old days watching 1.6 CPL events when there were no streams.
Yeah.
The ping was high, and this is kind of the experience we had.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be fixed for the second map, or I guess the 4th map between after this. But let's just see. Obviously, we're not too sure what's going on in our production room, but I'm sure they're doing their very best to sort it out. And again, SK, they are going to lose 1 player. That's going to be Fur going down, and FNX tagged up in the meantime. But Rush is going to be alone over towards the A site, so it should just be around here for the SK side as the bomb goes down, and he may be exiting over towards Ivy, which could be a good position at least for him. But Fur is going to be holding the angle with the AK, but he's not walking into it. Instead, just going back towards the A site. And another round of the ball for SK as the bomb gets ready to go off. 7-5 now, so a dominant T side after what was looking like a great start for OpTic. You know, picked up the first 3 rounds after winning the pistol, got the reset coming in after they lost 1 buy round, and then, you know, it's all fallen from there. It's all gone negative as SK, they've managed to get themselves 7 more rounds. And Rush, he may be coming into contact with Taco here as he tries to save towards the CT spawn. Yep, finds him. That's going to be 1, but I think they might be able to execute him because it's going to be Cold sneaking his way round towards A. Finds him, but oh no, maybe he doesn't. Rush going to be able to hold on to that AK-47 here. Another round on the board for OpTic, and it's going to be a another round on the board for SK. Sorry, it's going to be a 5-7.
Yeah, this is definitely not looking great for OpTic right now. They might have gotten away with maybe a 10-5 half here on CT side, but SK already creeping up at 7. It's going to make things problematic, and now as we can see, OpTic is trying to adjust here. They have a double op into play, and see if they can capitalize on that. Probably means they're going to be even more passive here. So we can see from minimap right now they are playing very passively on yard. just giving a lot of opportunities and room for SK to go into team main and go into ladder, and then make explosive plays from there on out.
Yeah. And I mean, anything OpTic can do, SK can do better. They will be dominant their own double AWP. We have Cold and we have Fallen on that, as per usual. And Taco, just sneaky, going to be pushing his way in towards the A site. The smoke's going to allow him to get a bit of a good position here, and he does have the support from Fallen over towards the Pop Dog. But as Tag comes out with the AWP, that is going to be mixed well towards the connector, putting him down to 15, and now Rush just throwing the nade on him. That's going to be the Kobe, and a 4v5 straight in the way for OpTic. But let's see if SK can come back from it, because of course they still have a couple of players over towards the A site, and FNX pushing up towards Ivy, so it hints that they may be going for this take. But Fallen, such an aggressive position, so deep in this A site now, and we really have no defense from the CT side. The only men holding it off is Tarek and Upper, and Rush over towards the Ivy area as well. So really no defense in Fulham. He may be able to catch someone off guard.
Yeah, that's his perfect prime position right now. He's in middle in a sandwich, and he's contemplating with the idea of taking his knife out, but he's not going to get a kill from one mouse 2 tap right now.
This is so clever. He's just biding his time, allowing his team to get in position before he goes for this first kill. And there we go. The no-scope comes in, follows up as well, but he's going to miss it. That's not how it's supposed to go. But the rest of his team pushing in towards B. He holds the flank from Tarek, and now we are going to see Stan holding down the B side. He gets traded after one, and again, back in the favor of SK here, as we just see Naflight coming in from the flank, goes for his own no-scope, won't hit it, follows up as well, won't hit it again. And Naflight, why don't you right-click, my man? Oh, that's not good. SK, they're going to be able to take 8 rounds.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just one of those rounds that you don't even know what to say about, really. Fallen somehow manages to go between 2 CTs. As we see now, OpTic's going to be calling for a timeout. Somehow, Fallen makes his way there. Becomes the burger.
Yeah.
Between the 2 CTs. Capitalizes over, even though he kind of whips the second shot, but still damage is done. He gets the kill, initiates the push, and then the other CT kind of gets into a very, very uncomfortable situation, being in the bomb side on the bomb train when you have Ts coming from 2 opposite directions is not optimal.
You know what I would have loved to see in that situation? Fallen, because you know, obviously it'd be obvious that Mixwell would be double zoomed over towards the B upper, so Fallen should have snuck underneath him and made his way into the B site, killed that player over towards the train, and then turned around to kill Mixwell. But I mean, it's wishful thinking there, and maybe it would have granted him a little.
You don't get style points, so you know, as long as it does the job, whatever you do, just do it.
Yeah.
Now, on pauses have been called. OpTic leaving this pause maybe a little bit too late. I felt like maybe at that, you know, you were up, what, they were 5-1 up. They should have probably called it at like 5-5 situation where you still could have made it into a fairly good city half. Now this, with only 2 rounds to go on the city half, is you know, kind of a waste in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little too late, I think, with 2 more rounds, and I mean, only a couple of rifles on the favor of OpTic, as we do see Stan get aggressive towards main. Grabs himself an AK, Rush as well, buying into the M4 this round, and now we just have another domination from SK. We have Cole picking up a couple more players over towards B upper, and just Rush left alone over towards the A site. Won't be able to deny bomb plant though.
So, if JDM's was lounging, is Cold Zera now then side lounging?
That may work. I don't think it'll catch on though, because I feel like it's only going to be this match.
I've seen this happen before.
Yeah, but not. It's not the most
Look at
common.
this. This is pretty. Guy's still chilled. And look at those tashes, by the way. His mustache.
Yeah, he's really grown out.
Damn. I'm jelly.
I would. And now SK only 1 round off taking double digits and 1 round off finishing the half hit. OpTic will be trying to mix things up with a double AWP, but this time on Tarek and Mixwell, not on Nafly.
Yeah, Mixwell definitely not having a great game, sitting at 3 frags. You know, someone who's usually producing a lot of numbers for this team. You just don't get away with him sitting at 3. It is as simple as that. And as SK is very close from hitting double digits. Again, OpTic is sitting with 2 ops and Fallen once again just walking out in the positions, but it's going to be Tarek with the first kill onto Cold Zera.
Yeah, so the AWP actually working out for him as they switch things up, and of course SK, they've come back from plenty of situations like this, and FNX is going to be a prime example of that. Drops Nafly over towards Ivy, bit of over-aggression here from OpTic as they go for these fights. Not really going to favour them, of course, when you're up against the Brazilian Lords, and we will just see SK ready to push out a couple of players on towards the B side, but the bomb's still going to be rotating back through the T-spawn now.
4-4 situation right now. Things are so slowed down. Still a couple of 3 smokes for SK to work with here, so a lot of opportunities to be had. And a 4-4 situation always favors the T side. Means there's going to be a gap somewhere on the map. Now it's all a matter of the T's just finding that gap and utilizing it to the fullest. But still 45, so plenty of time to work with. Bomb is making its way toward the inner bomb site, and that's where lone Stanislav right now it's going to be waiting.
Yeah, they will take a while on these rotations at least. These players very deep in the A site, but Mixwell's going to be over towards connector, maybe able to jump back in towards B as we hear these smokes come through, and SK, they are going to be using a bit of utility, but it still could constitute as a fake here almost, because they've not committed a single player towards the site. So now Stan's going to be weary in calling for a rotation, but now it comes in, the smoke and the push. Stan's going to have to hold off this initial rush here from the T side, and they will get themselves into the site. Nice position from him, drops Taco, drops onto the site as well, and tries to follow up onto Fallen, but instead just going to be biding his time because there's only 9 seconds left. There's no way that SK can get this bomb plant down. Burr is going to be alone, and Stan's just going to be able to wipe things up here. That is going to be a 6-9 to OpTic. Actually able to bring things back a little more in their favor, but it's still just going to go in the way of the SK side with 9 rounds there. But we are going to be reconnecting to the server, trying to fix our lags at least, and hopefully
Less
that'll
tilting.
work. Yeah.
Less tilting.
Less
for everyone.
tilting.
Yeah, less slight lounging.
Yeah. And
but yeah, I mean, you know, great start for OpTic. Obviously, Nafly, you know, doing pretty much all the work for his team, and I think the biggest letdown really for me was Mixwell. I mean, he really needs to produce numbers for this team to have an opportunity, because he's, you know, definitely, in my opinion at least, together with Nafly, probably the most impactful players in this team.
And I mean, you can talk about at least OpTic haven't had any recent performance or matches against top tier teams like SK, for example. I mean, apart from playing them online, you know, they haven't been at a big LAN recently. They dropped out a Star Series with Immortals as well, so they weren't able to attend there and play against some of the best teams. And obviously their last proper big LAN was probably the Major in Cologne, and they bombed out of that in last place. So
yeah, it's been a while. And SK they just found their groove towards the I guess after 5-6 rounds of the half. You know, they kept on playing quite the usual grindy Counter-Strike slow and making sure they're trading effectively. They put themselves in 3-on-3 situations, and they're more often than not winning those situations just because their players are really good in those situations, individually playing and also playing off of each other, which is a massive part of Counter-Strike. But we are live here, second half, and hopefully we're going to be looking straight up this time instead of side lounging.
Yeah, it looks fixed from Alicia's perspective, but let's just see how it turns out, because I called that earlier and it wasn't true. But anyway, SK now going to be on the favoured side, the CT side, and OpTic residing on this T side. Let's see how they can do without their IGL. Daps recently leaving and being replaced by Stanislaw, who was previously on the bench. Let's see at least if they have something up their sleeves to bring this back in their favour. And obviously they picked up the first pistol round. Let's see if they can do it once again as they head a couple of players over towards the B site, and obviously a bit of A control as well on the outside of main, just to hold for this aggression from SK, which are, you know, obviously a very likely scenario.
Things started out really slow, and look at this SK. It's almost like they have a wall built up. They are in a line right now, as you can see here in the minimap. That's Fur and Taco playing inner bomb side, FNX, Fallon, and Colzera, or the King, if you like, in the outer bomb side. And OpTic. Smoke 2 flashes right now. Everyone else is just armor, so it doesn't really allow OpTic to a lot of different options to choose from. No. It seems like they're going to be gathering up towards alley and maybe smoking off left side and trying to do a bomb rush the other bomb side.
Yeah, and Mixwell, he's going to be leading the charge, just pushing straight up. The smoke goes down to at least hold off the CTs from pushing in, but Coldzera, he's going to run right through the smoke, spots out Rush, able to get that kill, but the trade comes in still. And now suddenly out of nowhere, SK are left on 2 players. Fallen does come back with a headshot of his own, and there is going to be a tagged up player towards the site, but Fallen takes 2. How are OpTic giving away these situations? 10 seconds left on the clock, and there's still no sight of getting the bomb down over towards here, and Fallen is going to be tapping away once again. He's still 2 Ts getting aggressive, and Fallen, he's going to have to allow a bomb plant here. They will get away with it, and now it's going to be a 1v2.
100 HP, has a kit, but no armor right now. But if he manages to create 2 individual one-on-ones, there's a chance here. Tarek being as low as he is, anything's possible.
Yeah, so wrapping his way around the site, spots out Tarek, only going to be head glitching there from that position, so won't actually be able to find the kill. And Tarek going to be wrapping around the back of the site, drops the first. Tarek's 10 HP here, he can't afford to peek in this situation, knowing Fallen has a kit as well. Fallen jumps for it, goes back round, chases it, but Tarek's going to be able to find it. And OpTic, they will just be able to pick up that second pistol round on the board for themselves now, so a great start there.
Yeah, what a game of mouse and cat there going on, but this smoke actually worked out in the way of Colzera. Doesn't matter to capitalize on it too much, just gets 1 kill, but there was an opportunity for multiple kills there for sure. The T's actually throwing that smoke and then coming through it themselves. Now, OpTic does pick up the second pistol round as well. So in theory, by the numbers, I guess you could say they should be winning this map, but you know, still definitely not something we were expecting here, but
No.
we'll see. They'll definitely give themselves an opportunity.
Yeah, and with 4 kills coming in, they're going to have a lot of economy to buy up, at least into this round. Some pistols coming in, some armor as well, balling as well, and the scout as per usual. And suddenly it's going to be a little more frivolous for them here as they manage to find a few kills into the round. And OpTic always able to trade things out with the rifles as well. And there will just be 2 players remaining here for SK as 1 player is just forced in towards Ivy. That smoke going to allow him at least to wrap round towards CT, of course, but I don't think he's going to be going, as I say that. Cold Zero just pushed himself into CT, and we do have this last player Taco as well coming in from Ivy.
Yeah, I think the round is pretty much over with, but if SK managed to get some kills here in the parts of this round, that would be a positive thing. OpTic just decides to bomb rush outer bomb side basically on that one. Not really a great fan of it because it involves a lot of risk. You're not really playing off of any information. You're just going in there balls deep and see how things work out.
Yeah. But
And
now
it does cost them 2 players.
exactly, and they are going to be a little lower on the money after investing quite a few rifles into the previous round, but they are going to follow up once again with a quad rifle buy, one of them being on Galil's, and we do have a Mixwell on the UMP as well. Just to rack up a bit of money against these armless players. He knows what he's up against, and you know, $600 a kill. You've got to be wanting to send Mixwell in first to take these gunfights, and they will just be charging out towards A. That's going to be Mixwell leading that said charge, and SK with 4 players over towards the site could be a little more futile, at least for OpTic to pick this one up. But as I say that, it's just going to be a clean slate. Taco's going to be stuck towards connector, pushing him through the smoke, but once again, I can imagine another round in the bag here for OpTic.
They go under bomb side once again, but this time around, they're going to be surviving with 4. That means money in the bank. First prep round is coming in as we're sitting at 9-all right now. SK should be good for pretty much anything they wanted to. Fallen going for the op, but it's not going to afford a armor. So it's obviously not optimal, but he can get away with it.
Yeah, and now talking about this, I mean, I've not been too worried for SK. It's 9-9, you know, it's not that scary, but I think if they lose this buy round, this is where things get dicey. OpTic have potential to at least edge towards the end of a map.
Yeah, I mean,
It's getting scary.
Economic game obviously is way harder on the city side. If you lose this one, then you're going to be sitting in a rather dire situation going further. So definitely can get dicey here for SK, but let's not look too far ahead. Though, as I say that, Nafly does get the first kill on a Fallon, so that's going to be that glass cannon out of the picture.
Yeah, and first still towards the back of the site here to try and put in some defense for the CT side as we do see these Ts slightly aggress up. We have Mixwell with the UMP, but not the most long-range gun here. He wants to get into a tighter position to take these fights, and we still have 3 players of SK over towards the A side, which is where OpTic are looking at attacking, it seems. Tarek's going to be grabbing the bomb and heading back towards the A main. So yeah, this is going to be an A take, it seems. Minute on the clock, still a chance to rotate, but I feel like they will be committing to this one as well.
Yeah, and a 5-4, so definitely favoring OpTic right now. Still have a couple of smokes to play with, plenty of Molotovs too. So that means they can flush out a lot of positions here. And they decided to just walk out basically. We have third here, back bomb. It's not going to connect on the nav.
Yeah, down to 70 HP in the process. But now the full push is coming out. We can't see SK missing these shots. Fur won't. He only lands 1 though, and Tarek and Rush are both going to be able to chime in for kills of their own. And now it's all going to be on Taco once again, coming in from the connector. This is dire for SK. This is getting dangerous. The huge underdogs of this matchup are able to take themselves 10 rounds.
Yeah, they're definitely sitting in a very positive situation right now. OpTic coming in for just not connecting on the bullets. He, you felt like he kind of should have hit those shots,
yeah,
but somehow just did not. And a lot of whiffing, really, if you looked at it too. From whoever was up on
FNX
yeah,
upper,
FNX up and upper.
And even Fur on the site, he gets
Yeah.
1. He's able to spray down the second.
Very awkward, but OpTic, they'll take it. They'll definitely take it. Now SK is going to be on another save round here. Fur instantly buys a scout.
Yeah, the most worrying thing about this is probably not the fact that SK must be scared. I think Rushley must be scared most all because he's about to lose 50 euros to Chad. That's dangerous.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Come on.
Let's see how it goes. But I still
know better. Gotta know better.
The lead for the North Americans.
We'll see how this works out.
Yeah.
I can see a world where SK somehow wins the eco round, and then things just turn the other way around.
Yeah, they are pretty jammy, and these scouts are going to be jammy as well.
And these Deagles as well. But look at this, OpTic just playing it really passively right now. They're just waiting for SK to make moves. They kind of are. Colds are here, playing quite aggressively in alley, but he's not overextending. He's not going to want to peek all the way to T-spawn. Now with Mixwell, it's waiting with an op for anyone to push.
Yeah, the flash into beat. Rush is going to be going for that initial peak here, and OpTic, well, they haven't fully committed to either site just yet, with the bomb still outside of the A site. They may just be pushing into Pop Dog, it seems. One of the players is dropping down there. It's going to be Rush. A very slow round from OpTic here. They know they're up against the Nico, that's the thing, so they're quite scared of SK getting aggressive, and they're at least holding for this said aggression from the CT side, but we're really not seeing anything from SK, aside from that peeking over towards Ivy from Cold with the Deagle. They've really not found themselves any avenues into this round.
This is a very polar opposite of OpTic anti-eco from the first 2 rounds we saw after the pistol round. Seems like they're going to be gathering towards inner bomb site. Taco here with that 5-7 on the bomb site, waiting for a push to come in.
And now with 30 seconds left, they're going to be committing to this. Taco has to step up massively, and they are going to just jump their way onto the site. FNX able to pick something up. He follows up with a second as well. This scout is working out massively for him. He finally gets traded from Nafly, but OpTic, they've only got 2 players remaining, and while Nafly may double that up to take down Taco, it's still going to be a 2v3, and SK, they're definitely not out this round with this AK in the hands of Fallen. He's going to be coming in from the lower as well. An isolation from Cold there as he drops Nafly down to 3 HP, and it is going to be a 1 versus 2 now as he finds his third of the round. Rush gets dropped, and Nafly with 3 HP left, he has to pull out an absolutely phenomenal clutch bomb. Going to be mollied there, so they aren't going to be able to get the defuse, and no smoke as well to put down on that, but Fallen has a molly. He's going to throw that up towards the upper area as well, or sorry, lower area as well, and now Nafly, he's going to be going for the fight. Player over towards the site, that is going to be 1, but Fur put down to 3, and his teammate just picks up the round. You just mentioned it, Nathan. You just called it.
This is what happens a lot of the times when underdogs have the opportunity to really take the reins of a game. They go on to lose an anti-eco. And that's exactly what happened there. They just basically went down the clock very much all the way down to 28 seconds, I think. And then just basically, without really having any knowledge on what's going on in the map, committing inner bomb site, those 2 scouts come in play. They do a great job getting the first 2 kills, everything going away of SK in that situation. And they capitalize. It's a 10-10 scoreline, but still money on OpTic. They can turn this around on this one here. But definitely a new lifeline for SK.
But potential for reset now. If OpTic pick up this round, SK are going to have really not much money into the next. As you can see, 3 of the players don't even have $1 between them to put in. Now, look at this Fallen getting very up close and personal here. He finds the first with a nade and gets a tag off from the Rush, but Rush is going to be able to trade things out. FNX, he has to hit the shot. Finds 1. Going to be an equal back and forth, though, as OpTic, they're left in a 3-on-3, and still the defense over towards the site for the CT side. As may get eliminated, but first they're going to be wanting to be dangerous. And there's 3 players on OpTic, all of them tagged up 40 HP or lower in this situation, so I'm definitely not counting out SK after they do have this player pushed very deep into CT. That is going to be fair.
Yeah, still more than a minute to play as well, so OpTic is not in a rush to get the bomb down or anything. They're just going to play a smart way. Fur, I think he might have spotted Rush, I'm pretty sure. Now he's going to spot Tarek too. He does, he gets the kill. Now he knows Rush is going to be somewhere there. He gets that kill too, so Fur with 2 massive kills, leaving just Nafly. 1-on-2 with 37 HP. The bomb is down all the way towards T-spawn, or T-main rather.
But
look
at this.
Tough one.
The buddy system here on the CT side, they're playing everything together right in the position to trade things out. So even if Nafly got the element of surprise and found 1 kill, they'd be able to instantly trade, and that's why SK are going to be able to pick up the round.
Yeah, big play there for sure.
Yeah,
those 2 kills were massive. And now still OpTic with money to buy into this one, but the story is different if they lose this round here. They are 100% fully committed into this. SK's money obviously not looking pretty either, so there's potential for a money crisis for the one that's going to lose this one.
Yeah, and no AWP as well is going to mean Fallen has a bit of advantage in that sense. Of course, OpTic, they are a little bit more stinted on the utility into this round. You can see 3 players not able to fully buy up the nades, but again, they have exhausted some very early on as well. Some flashes over towards the A side, but look at that peek first. Just going to eliminate that player. Mixwell goes down as he tries to peek up the top of the ladder, and the rest of the players are going to be filing out. We do have the positions from Burlow. Flash goes in, he takes another one, but Tarek going to be able to trade it out, but to no avail. He gets dropped as well, and Nafly going to be stuck in a 1-on-4. Does find his first, but Tarek rotating into the Nectar, as well as the crossfire setup from Cold, is going to be able to finish off that round. Once again, 12-10 to SK.
Yeah. Fur again, nice first kill there, and that was just a contact play from OpTic basically. There was a smoke being thrown from T-spawn from on top of the massive trash thingy, whatever it's called, and the rest of them, 3 of them were in T-main, just popped out, tried to be explosive, not managing to get the first impact kills to gain ground, gain control of the bomb site, and then make it uncomfortable for CTs. Instead it was SK getting the kills, but here comes a bomb rush from OpTic. SK gets the kills. Just Rush now left with 1 HP. It kind of looked tricky there for a second for the first guy that just ran up that lower ramp. Somehow managed to get a kill.
But it's funny enough, talking about Nafla, at least we did at halftime, he's currently 26 and 16. More kills than any of the SK players as well. 6 above Fallen, who's on 20. And Mixwell still not able to find his footing, as he is only going to be 8 and 15. But as well on that list as Taco with 8 and 17. Sorry. So
yeah, a lot of players have an issue if they don't get a good start. They'll struggle throughout the game, and he's definitely not having a ball right now. On the other hand, SK, they are looking pretty good right now. 13-10 up. Finally building a bit of a bank, and an op on Cold0 this time around. On the other hand, OpTic, AKs across the board, a lot of utility to work with. Throwing in some smokes, and you can see SK taking a very aggressive positioning right now. All across the map, you could say, as Cold0 gets a kill in upper ramp. And Fallen is ready for this push, but it's going to be another one coming from Stanislav in ladder. He gets sandwiched, it's going to be a 4-on-4.
For just spamming down towards Ivy. It's Nafla pushes out. That's going to be bad timing for him. Has a nade in his hands. Still flash ready with this one. Goes for the pop flash, but he's not going to peek with it. Instead, just throws that molly towards A main. This push from the T's, but meanwhile they're pushing in towards B, or that Stan was, and Taco's going to be able to eliminate him as well, putting it in another man advantage situation for SK as these last two players push out towards the site here. Mixwell caught out from Fern. Nice angle from him, but Tarek trades. It's still going to be favourable for SK though, but the Molotov not able to land and connect is going to mean SK aren't fully forced out of this site for the time being. FNX peeking out, great timing from him, finds Nafla, leaves just Tarek in a 1 versus 3 with plenty of time on the clock, but with no utility and no real control of the bomb site as SK are just playing on the outer borders of it. It's going to mean it's a very difficult situation to really find anything from this.
Yeah, he needs to get the bomb down and then somehow miraculously create 3 one-on-ones for himself. Now, if I know SK at all, I don't think they're going to be giving him that opportunity. So Tarek right now is going to try to get some kills before getting that bomb down. He does get a one on the FNX, but there's one behind him right now in connector. It's going to be Cold0. He gets the kill. It's going to be 14 for SK. And now OpTic, their money situation is not that good right now. It's going to be another pause coming in.
Yeah, the second of 4 pauses that they do have, and it is going to be a dire situation. 5 rounds lost in a row. SK only going to be one off the dreaded match point as well, so I can see why it's being called for OpTic. Their money as well is really not looking good. They could go for a buy, but it'd be such a lack of utility as well on most of the players. It's going to make it a really, really difficult situation for them to at least make the decision. What would you think would be the best thing to do?
For OpTic right now?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to see them either do the similar to what they did in the anti-eco, really play up aggressive, super fast strat, or then just do the typical wall of smokes, which pretty much guarantees you a bomb plant.
Yeah.
First, you take over ladder, then you make sure there's no one pushed in T main, and then you create the wall of smokes. You go out of bomb side, you get the bomb down. Make sure you try to make sure you're at least in the least situation you're in a 3-on-4. You know, the most optimal situation being you're in like a 5-on-3 situation to get the bomb down, but at least make it a 3-on-4, get the bomb down, get quad. That's one of the main parts of the other bomb side. Really hard to retake the other bomb side if there's a T somewhere in quad. So pretty much, I guess, those would be the opportunities or the possibilities they could have.
Yeah, and they are going to go for the buy. I do agree with this one. You know, it's getting too close down to the wire, and we will see a bit of utility on Tarek as he does go only for the Galil. Oh, sorry, not the Galil, the Tet 9. A couple of AKs mixed with the Galil and Mixwell, so he's able to get a little more utility as well. But still, by and large, going to be favouring SK here with the double AWP setup, full kits, and full nades.
Yeah, that was OpTic just throwing some smokes outside, trying to make sure SK is using some of their utility in the early part of the round to make it easier for OpTic to get into the bomb site later on, because if you let the CTs have their Molotovs towards the tail end of the round, then it becomes really hard to get a ladder, get out of T main if they're Molotoved out.
Yeah. And of course, SK are going to be quad stacking this A site. So if they do eventually decide to go for this push, which it looks like they're hindering towards, it may go pretty negatively for them, because obviously the stack is going to be favouring them massively. And as well as the information grabbed from Cold0, because he's pushed up into B upper, so he can just call as soon as he sees a player, guys, we need 1 player rotation. And 1 player will just push into a connect.
Yeah, exactly, that's the big play right now. But as we can see, Fur playing in the smokes once again. Very aggressive ER, but it's going to be Taco with the first contact, gets the kill on the Tarek. He goes down, and nothing really happening right now. I'm not really sure what OpTic is doing. They sent Tarek to die, and everyone else is just not doing anything, really. And right now, for trying position to get a kill. He does get one, but Stanislav for the trade. 3-on-4, make it a 2-on-4. And OpTic is just, They're just falling apart like a house of cards.
Yeah, Mixwell will get one of the refrag though, but he goes straight down after, and now Nafly with just a Tech 9 and a Dream. Tries to come in, but we know what Cold Zero is like. Pulls out the pistol, gets a shot off as well, and a 15th round gathered for SK, so they are only going to be one off the win. And I mean, we were talking about how OpTic, they could close this map out. They were picking up the rounds, they picked up a buy round, and then as you called it, right before it happened, lose to an eco. Thanks to FNX's phenomenal scout play, and obviously SK brought it back.
That's just the way it goes so many times.
Yeah.
You see underdogs with the opportunity, they'll be in a 11-10 scoreline or something similar, and they can push it to 12. They'll be one buy round from being very close from winning it, and then it all goes down in flames with an anti-eco loss. But just the nature of the game. Third, the very aggressive play here in ladder decides to fall back as he knows that OpTic might have a bit of a quasi-buy, as they do. Galil, actually 2 Galils, the Tech 9 and 2 AK-47s. Not a lot of utility either, so it has to be brute force for OpTic to work out, but with the first kill of the round.
Yeah. A couple of players tagged up though on the CT side. Fur eventually will get dropped by Tarek there with a Tech 9, and FNX is still 4 HP, so SK are going to be favoured, but only just slightly here as Fallen. He grabs himself an M4 to make things a little more doable as FNX picks up the AWP instead. And now we will just see OpTic try and come back from this. They have plenty of time on the clock and a bit more utility as well to expire over towards this A bomb site, and then just going to be pushing straight out here. A couple of players coming out of main, and FNX towards the back of the site with the AWP, maybe a threatening player in this position, as well as Taco, who's also forced into the site here, waiting on the edge of the smoke, goes to that first fight, drops the bomb as well, but he's got to follow up to at least make it worth his while. He does go down, and now FNX with 4 HP is still going to be alone over towards Connector, the back of CT spawners. He's repositioned, but the bomb yet to go down with 30 seconds left.
Nice flash there, and Naf with the kill on the Fallon. And that's going to be a 3-on-2 situation now, favoring OpTic. And now they should be able to get the bomb down now, and they should have the positional advantage. They should be around for them.
Yeah, we'd like to hope, obviously, if the afterparts go well, but FNX not even going to allow them to get into play. And there we go, Cole follows up on the rush. It's all going to be on that fly. He has to pick up the absolutely incredible clutch, but he's not going to be able to. Cold Zero is going to be able to finish that one out. And SK, they take 16 rounds. OpTic in a 3-on-2. Could have got into post plants, but instead just get eliminated by these 2 AWPing players left.
Yeah, I mean, massive starts for OpTic on both halves. With those kind of starts, you give yourselves that chance. I said before the game, if they get those good starts, they'll give themselves the chance to win this game, theoretically. And again, it just doesn't work out because they lose an anti-eco. It's just the nature of the game. You could see it was one of those rounds where in the second round of the game, the third one, you just saw OpTic running out of bomb side. I think it's a little bit risky, but at the same time, at least you're showing courage. You're not scared. You're making plays right away. But on that particular round, they played really slow. They didn't really get any information on what's going on, and then ended up just going in the bomb side and get destroyed by the scouts. So it is just one of those situations where inexperience comes into play, and the team with first of all the better individual skill and the more experience is going to prevail.
Yeah, and it did look a lot like they were a bit more lost with the loss of Daps, obviously. The mid-round calling seemed to be very, very slow. And again, you said it yourself on that anti-eco. They did the same kind of setup on most rounds as well, just kind of waiting for the aggression from SK. And not once did SK push into A main, to Ivy, to anywhere. They didn't really get aggressive on that CT side. And that meant OpTic weren't able to get the picks a lot of the rounds.
Yeah, I wanted to see more really, really hone out execute plays towards the other bomb side. Make that wall of smokes, because that gives you the opportunity to get the bomb down more often than not. You usually do get that bomb down, and what that means that you will always be in a situation where it is very possible for you to win the round unless you just basically play all the after plan situations like crap.
Yeah.
Or are positioned wrongly, or your opponent just played it really, really well, which is something SK is known for. They're really good in those situations, but at least you're making yourself that opportunity. Towards the end there was a round where it felt to me like a bit of a contact play towards the outer bomb side. They sent 2 in T main to a ladder, OpTic did, and then Tarek dies and everyone just freezes. Like no one does anything. Everyone freezes and doesn't really do anything. Instead, you need to kind of go for the kills, try to trade them effectively, try to get a kill, make it a 4-on-4, give yourself that chance of somehow getting into the bomb site, but instead they just froze, didn't do anything.
Yeah, and obviously it shows with them losing their first match. We will see SK obviously going into the second round obviously with a win, so that's going to be good for them, and a phenomenal start from them. But of course there is only one thing more phenomenal than SK's win, and that is the Score Esports app. Download it on iOS or the Google Play Store, and of course get it for your Android or your iPhone, and check out all the stats and the scores as well as news for for all the matchups we have today, and very much more, and obviously all the other esports. Be sure to download it now. We will have one more matchup coming up in just a second, though, as well. That's going to be Na'Vi versus Team Liquid. But before that, we will just be going for a very short break, and then we will be going back into the second map. So see you in a minute, guys.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
They come Nade's rain in. Here come the bodies as well. Guardian just put one down. Can he find a second? You better believe he can. Not another. Surely! Guardian, stop it! Guardian shuts down 4, and the dream is real as he melts all 5. Mouse sports are no more. Oh my god.
That's got to be the sickest flame pro we've had this season.
Okay, tags up. 1. He's gonna get. Oh! I'm starting to believe as well, Henry, because he's got to take a flame. Oh! Fallen! Stop blowing my mind! This is gonna be absolute